today with another video. Follow me on my Instagram because I usually post about my videos on there. I usually answer, but lately I haven't been answering my DMs on Instagram, but that's because your girl is having a little bit of a social distancing depression. So it's like, yeah, I've just been keeping to myself for a few days. But yeah, if you want to give me any ideas for my channel, definitely shoot some through. Or if you see something on the news that you want me to give my opinion about, because I'm a very opinionated individual and I like to hear myself talk. I'm just kidding. I actually don't really say much when I'm around people, especially in a big group of people. That's why I'm taking COM 6 though, to be better in groups. But then they had to lock everything the fuck down. But I'm digressing from the fucking video. My bad. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about the state senator from Michigan who basically thought that it would be okay to wear a Confederate flag face mask. So in this clip, it's basically him getting interviewed, and he's talking about the face mask, the backlash that he got behind it. And mind you, in the video, he's wearing a different mask from the face mask he was wearing on the Senate floor. But he's defending the mask. Let me just insert it. I'm gonna insert it right here, and I'm gonna let you guys watch it and form your own opinions, and then I will put my 2 cents.
With State Senator Dale Zorn, who was wearing the mask, and she's here for you now with his response.
Someone came up to us and said that you had on a Confederate flag mask in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, sure. It wasn't a Confederate flag. It was a mask that my wife made for me, and she wanted me to wear it today. Mm-hmm. So I did, and I told my wife it probably will raise some eyebrows, but it was not a Confederate flag. And, I think even if it was a Confederate flag, we should be talking about teaching our national history in schools. And that's part of our national history. And it's something we can't just throw away because it is part of our history. And if we want to make sure that the atrocities that happened during that time doesn't happen again, we should be teaching it. Our kids should know what that flag stands for.
What does that flag stand for?
The Confederacy.
Do you have it with you, or?
No, I don't. I left it in there.
You left it inside? Yeah. Okay, and what is it exactly? You said it wasn't the Confederate
No, it's not. It wasn't a Confederate flag. My wife said it's more similar to the, I think she said Kentucky or Tennessee flag.
Okay.
But it was not made out of flag material.
When you put it on, you were like, this might raise a few eyebrows?
Yeah, just because it looked like, if you didn't look at it closely, you might think it was a Confederate flag.
Mm-hmm. And why did you make the decision to change?
I respect this institution, and I didn't want my actions to cause a negative effect to the institution.
So you saw this man caping for the Confederate flag, and this is why I had to make this video, because a lot of people always say this about the Confederate flag. It's history, it's a part of our history, and we need to teach our children history. He even said we need to teach people this history so it doesn't happen again. And I'm like, so one, you're admitting that Confederate history is tarnishing on American history because they weren't even a part of the Union. They were trying to separate themselves from the Union. They're talking about the Confederacy was fighting to unite the Union. They were trying to secede. What are you talking about? Learn your own history. Like, what the fuck are you trying to say? And then they were fighting to unite the Union by keeping slavery. Like, that's the part that they refuse to even acknowledge with the Confederacy, is that they were fighting for slavery. The whole Union was in jeopardy of dividing because the North didn't want slavery anymore. And the South was like, no, that's my money. That's my property. Those are my... Well, they weren't people. They were 3/5 of a person. But that's what the whole thing was about. Like, you can sugarcoat it and say they were fighting to preserve the Union. That's what they were fighting to preserve in the Union. Period. You can't sugarcoat that. That's what it was about. You don't know anything about the Civil War if you don't know that it was to keep slavery. Because with slavery, they had the 3/5 person rule. So they would count the slaves as not a whole person, but still enough on the census so they could get funding and have more representatives in Congress. So they could keep slavery. Like, come on. Learn your history, people. Okay? And this man was basically trying to make it out to be like, it wasn't that bad and we need to preserve this history and blah, blah, blah. And I agree with him. We need to teach people about the Confederacy. It is a part of American history. But when you start to wear it on t-shirts, when you start to wave it freely, you're not just teaching people about the history, you're glorifying the history. You're celebrating that part of history. And that's a repugnant part of history. You can teach it, but don't glorify these people as if they're heroic. They're not heroes. They are not heroes at all. They were making money off of free labor, mutilating people, stripping them of their culture, stripping them of their language and their ancestry, degrading them, demeaning them, raping their children. These are the people who were in the Confederacy fighting to preserve slavery. That is what they did. But that's like what I never understand. Like, it seems like when there's a tragedy that doesn't have anything to do with white people, they're like, well, we need to remember the history, but it's like a celebratory thing. Like, you're praising these people like they're heroes. Like, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. That's like, what is that like? That's like me wearing an Al-Qaeda flag and being like, we can never forget about 9/11. We can never forget. It's like me waving the flag and putting it in my yard and wearing a shirt with Osama bin Laden on it. Like, we can't forget 9/11. Like, are you serious? If I did that, you would be so offended. You would be so offended, okay? Just like Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden were terrorists, the Confederacy was a terrorist to the black community. Terrorism. They would terrorize black people. All the shit that they did to black people during slavery, like, let's be real. Like, I know Django is on Netflix right now. It is a fictionalization, but at the same time, is it really hard to believe that they did Mandingo fights during slavery? No, it is not. Okay? So these atrocious people who were doing all of these disgusting acts unto black people are your heroes. Yes, you can teach the history of it, but don't celebrate it. Don't hang the flags freely, rebel yelling like you're fucking crazy. Like, no. There's a difference between remembering history and celebrating it. There's a massive difference. And you know that he was wrong, and he knows that it was wrong, because y'all already motherfucking know he started crying these tattooed tears and came out with this bullshit ass apology as per the usual, as they always do. Ain't nobody give a fuck about your apology, sir. Like, no one cares about your apology. You know the history behind this. You know what it is. And they asked him, what does the flag stand for? The Confederacy. You know what the fuck that she's asking you. What does the flag stand for? What did the Confederacy stand for? What were they fighting for? Won't answer that question though. Talking about it's a part of history. It is a part of history and we do need to teach it. But your face ass shouldn't be wearing the flag celebrating Robert E. Lee. You just shouldn't be. And that's why he came back and apologized, because he knew that it was wrong. And no one cares about his apology because you don't mean it. One of those fucking I'm gonna come back the next day face ass apologies. Oh my God. Like I've said it before and I say it again. If you're gonna be racist, own your racism. At least then I respect you. But now you done up and apologized. And now you're racist and you're a pussy. Toughest of titties to you, sir. The fuck? God. And y'all wonder why Detroit is a mess. Y'all wonder why Flint still doesn't have drinking water. Because people like this are being voted into the Senate to represent them. You think this Confederate motherfucker is really going to go and push an issue about Flint getting clean water? So I found this article about Flint, Michigan water crisis in 2020, and they did this study where they took 174 children from Flint, and they basically said that 80% of those children might need special education because of the lead that's in their water, the water that they haven't been able to drink for like 6 years. But we wonder why they don't have clean water. Because of senators like Dale Zorn. That's why they don't have clean water. Like the public officials in Flint, in Michigan, tell them, oh, the water's drinkable. You could drink the water now. And the people are like, we don't trust the government. We don't trust them because they're the ones who lied about it being drinkable in the first place. They stopped giving Flint drinking water 2 years ago. The people of Flint had to take donations, or they have to actually go buy drinking water when it's supposed to be your right to water. You will die without water. But these people want to keep them from clean drinking water and make their children have to go to special education classes. And that's how they keep black children down in school. I will be making a video about that too. It is a phenomenon. It is real. And I shouldn't have enough to make a whole video about it, but that's just not the society we live in. That's not the society we live in. Apparently, I can make 20-minute videos about people being racist and have multiple videos to make. Because that's how deep the rabbit hole goes, my friends. But anyway, back to the video. He don't care. I mean, we already knew that Michigan didn't care because there's a whole generation of children growing up without clean drinking water for 6 years, going on 7. We already knew they didn't care, but now they're not hiding the fact that they don't care because of their disgustingly racist president. Now it's okay to wear Confederate flags and then come back and apologize 2 days later as if you meant it because of the backlash. Like you didn't know that you were going to get backlash for a Confederate flag. In Michigan, there were people in the comment section that were like, how is this man going to wear a Confederate flag when there are a lot of people from Michigan who fought in the Union? Like, that's disrespectful to your own people's ancestors. You're goofy. And that's how strong white supremacy is. Ridiculous. So, like I said, the Confederate flag is racist. You cannot tell me that it's not racist. Anyone who supports the Confederate flag, you are racist. I don't care what you say. Oh, when it used to have another meaning before. I don't give a fuck what it had a meaning before. The meanings of things change over time all the time. There's always an evolution in meaning. And that meaning evolved into racism. If millions of black people are telling you this is offensive, maybe it's motherfucking offensive. You want to always invalidate people's experiences to push your own agenda, to make yourself feel better so you could sleep at night and not be fucking guilty. When you are racist, keep the energy. Keep that same energy if you're going to be about that racist life. But anyway, that's all I had to say on this. Hopefully you guys like my rhetoric. Like I said, this is the system. These are the people that we're voting into office, or at least the people in Michigan are voting him into office. If you want things to change, if you want Flint, Michigan to get water, get the senator out of office. Isn't there an election coming up in November? I don't know if his seat is up in November, but the true colors will surface and boil over. So if y'all want him out, get him out. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.